back.
And deader than ever.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tamara.
And this is
Ghoul
Beans! It's been a while since we got to do that.
I know. We're together in the studio.
Together again. How are you? How was Seattle? No?
Coffee?
Okay. Okay.
Because then how are we going to squeeze this one in?
Okay. Fair enough.
We have a guest with us in the studio today.
And their name is Meatball.
Or Mariel.
Today, we're very lucky to have my partner of 6 years, Martier,
Yeah, there you go. Say your
on
name
the
right.
pod.
Yes. Happy to
Mariel,
be here.
Mariel.
Thanks for inviting me.
We recently went to Seattle, which we'll talk about later. We're not going to talk about that right away.
Kelly, you fucker. Coffee.
Yeah, we went to, actually, you took us to this spot, which is huge, so it's weird that we didn't know about it, but.
Yeah, it's called Brew Point Cafe, and it is in.
Elmhurst.
Thank you. There are actually 2 locations. There's one that's like the original one, and then there's more of the one that we went to, which is a like warehouse.
Like, it's actually ginormous. There was a room in the back, too.
I know, I
Yeah.
saw.
It was really cool. But yeah, it's a great coffee shop. The woman who started it, she now is obviously the CEO of this company. They do ethical roasting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They do a lot of like fundraising and I think like merchandise, like their
Oh, yeah,
proceeds go.
They had a lot of tote bags that
Yeah.
were like named after drinks that they have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there was one that was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Cloud Gazer or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Which coffee did you have?
I had the
Should we get back to you?
yeah.
I had the Borealis, which was like a sweet honey nut oat milk flavored. I had it iced. It was delicious. There was like cinnamon in there. What did you have, babe?
Yeah, I had the cold foam cold brew, and that was probably one of the best cold brews I've had in a very long time.
It was really good. I had a little sip of yours as well. Did they put ice in it?
Yeah, it was iced.
I like when they do that and they don't just give you like, I know that people just want like the cup of cold brew.
No,
But like I like when they put ice in it.
I want it cold.
Right.
Cold brew. Not.
I know, but at Starbucks they
lukewarm.
just give you like the cup of cold brew.
Yeah,
They don't put ice
I
in it.
haven't had. Yeah, they do. They don't put a lot of ice,
Mm.
but they put ice. I haven't had it in a while.
Matt got something too,
His was the Equinox.
which is
It was like smoked maple with oat milk.
ooh shit. That
Okay.
sounds
Yeah.
good.
And mine was called
O'Reilly's.
Little parts.
what was it?
Ow.
Prim and Pros. I actually, man, I don't know what it was called.
Kelly,
But okay, hold on.
can I say that it was I can speak for myself. It was delicious.
No, it was really, really good. I really like that cold foam cold brew. I wish we lived closer to it.
Thumbs up, Matt. Oh, way big. Great. He said way big. Kelly's
Way
still
big,
trying to
baby.
figure out what she drank. She loved it so much.
I did. I really liked it.
It might have been seasonal.
No, it was there last time. These are seasonal, and that's why I'm getting confused. Oh wait, Poetry and Prose.
Oh, not far, Matt. Not far. What's the description?
A modern classic. Your choice of milk paired with our house espresso is complemented by vanilla, praline, and cinnamon for a subtle, nutty twist on the classic vanilla latte.
Ooh, I felt like mine was also a subtle twist on a vanilla latte.
They probably all are, but it was
That's my kind of latte.
honestly, it was real yummy. And I feel like I know it said like with your choice of milk, but I feel like their default was oat milk, which I thought was kind
And
of cool.
good for us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not lactose intolerant, so.
Girl, get the fuck out of here.
You say this every single
Literally had
time.
an ass explosion a minute ago. Like,
That was like 5 hours ago, but
But she's
you're right.
not lactose intolerant.
no,
not.
she's
Lactose
never had an
and me are
irritable bowel.
bros.
None of her bowels are irritated. She's fine.
No, they're
But-
pretty comfy in there.
We'll return eventually when we're back out here. It's
Yeah.
a little too far from us, but
Well,
it was delicious.
They have like the founders one, and those drinks are different. So I think
Mm.
that's pretty cool. Each location, I think there's 4 now. Each location has a different like set menu.
And you asked if she had any ghost stories.
I did. So the two girls there that were working, the baristas, I did not catch their names.
Okay.
They both said they believe in ghosts. The one said she's never had any experiences, and the other one said she's never experienced any ghosts, but she does get sleep paralysis all of the
Classic.
time. Yeah.
I don't have any ghosts, but I do experience sleep paralysis
I
frequently, and I
do
interact
see
with
demons
them.
at night. And she did say, I was like, oh, that's terrifying. Hate that. Would never want that. And she did say that she has purposely put herself into sleep paralysis in order to astral
Yikes.
project. And
Could never be you. No.
She said that she has astral projected twice, like successfully, but she didn't go far. But that on one of the times that she was trying, one of her sleep paralysis demons told her to stop trying to astral project, like that it was dangerous.
That's unbelievable.
That's what I've heard
so
on the talk. that
Really?
People are like, if you do it, you have to be careful because you can astral project somewhere where you are not supposed to be there at all.
Well, I feel like it just like opens your body to other things, right? Like you're in an astral plane that you're not familiar with. There's things that are familiar in that plane and can probably like recognize like, oh, there's a vessel free and open for me. You know what I mean?
I think that, I don't know, it's definitely possible that I've astral projected, but I've had these insanely lucid dreams that are extremely repetitive. Like,
Oh yeah.
I get these lucid dreams. I know that I had one last night. And like, for example, there's this one where it's the same street and it's the same time of day and it's the same vendors on this street in the same order and they're all named the same thing and they sell the same things and they're like, and like I walked into my dream, I walked into one of these stalls and the guy who runs the stall, he wears a white button down every time and he's like kind of like a Mexican grandpa and he has a black mustache and he went, "Oh, it's been a while."
That's crazy.
You did not tell me that.
So
Yeah.
that's like almost seems like a meetup spot for like real.
I don't always go in there in my dream though.
But I think like I bet those people in there are probably like also in that space. You know, they're not just figments of your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'm saying that's why I don't know if it was astral. Like maybe that's a real place that I go visit sometimes.
Right.
Mhm.
Like a dream space or like that kind of planes space.
Right.
I feel like I get really confused sometimes when I try to like talk about astral projection and all the different
Mhm.
like planes and universes and stuff. But when I keep it simple and just believe how in like video games where all the players can like meet in a bar, like the waiting room, like maybe that's
Mm.
where a bunch of people can meet up in this plane and get fruit.
Maybe like I that's why I'm like I know I'm dreaming, so that kind of adds a layer.
Yeah.
But then the other layer is that these people recognize me when I go.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe I'm literally like I'm somewhere else.
Ooh, you know what I just thought of? It was like, what if like, I don't know. What if when you're aware that you're dreaming, like, isn't there a movie where you're,
Inception.
is it that where then they all like are trying to attack you? Was it that?
No, it's
like,
not that. But it's not Inception. But like I do know what you're talking about. I think that's like a theory that like you can't let them know that you like.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like you're not supposed to talk about like mention
that you're
that
astral
you're
projecting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then you can totally like. So I've heard stories where people are like, "You're not supposed to be saying that," or everybody
yeah.
stares at you all at once,
Okay,
and then
yeah,
now they
that's
know
what I was
that.
Yeah,
thinking
yeah, yeah.
about, and I'd be like, maybe that's when they're like, oh,
You're not supposed to be here.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like that's when like someone's like, oh, a vessel is free or something. Like maybe that's when
Mm.
it gets dangerous or
Mm.
something.
Yeah, you're like not supposed to acknowledge your presence,
That's
like
wild.
that you know that you're there. or
So
something
that
like
street with the vendors is one location that happens to me every now and then, like literally once, like maybe 3 times a year. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I have another one where it's like a town in Louisiana, and like all the roads are kind of dirt, and I know it's I know them. I could I could probably draw a map.
You-
Like seriously, like make a map of like the location. I know where the bumps in the road are and
Do you
like where
think you
there's a
could
stop
draw it?
sign. I know I could.
That's gross.
And like it's the same buildings, and there's this one building that has 2 garage doors that I walk past because it makes me uncomfortable. And like
Ew.
I'm telling you, and there's that one, and then there's another dream where it's like a situational dream where my plane has crashed.
Ugh, hate that.
The human
Mhm.
brain is wild.
It
Mhm.
is. And I like wonder, I've definitely had dreams where I've gone to the same place a ton of times, but it's like, I think that's just my brain being lazy. Like,
Mm.
I think it's bringing me back to like a place that I've imagined before.
Mm.
So I think it's cool that you have like a place where you're like, I know I'm dreaming and now I'm going to like visit people that, I mean, the fact that they're like, oh, it's been a while, like that's wild.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot where I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, where were you at?
Yeah, no, last night I had a nightmare that we were being hunted
Oh no.
by white supremacists
Oh,
in Seattle.
What
no.
a very intense dream.
I
And
know.
it felt like, I'm telling you, it felt like a utopian Seattle. It wasn't like, it was just gray and
I
like,
mean, a dystopian.
yes.
Like
Yes.
You're like, no color, my dream, real.
yeah. I'm like, utopia is like ideal.
No, my bad. Dystopian. It
Yeah.
was very like, I don't know. I was horrified the whole way through, and I kept putting myself back into the dream every time I would wake up.
Damn.
And I didn't mean to do that. And
Yeah, and you got up and like
I
fed the
didn't
cat.
mean to do that.
yeah, and then again, I went back into that dream.
Really?
Except at that point when I got up after feeding the cat, it was a lot different. We weren't being hunted anymore, but it was definitely like the day after.
Damn.
And I had to go to work, and I had to do my on-site
Fuck.
visits. Like
Damn.
it was very weird.
You stressed. That sounds like you're stressed. That's crazy.
Speaking of Seattle,
yes, I just want to say, Brew Point, definitely go check it out.
Oh,
It is
please.
on the tops, I think.
So
of the
I would
coffees
agree.
we've
That's one of
had.
the better places that we've been.
Yes.
We were being very serious about it because it is actually very good.
Yes. Just want to put that out there. But Seattle, tell us all about
Yeah,
it.
so we went to Seattle. I got to tag along on your business trip.
Mhm.
Incredible. I love that that's an option too.
Me
Me
too.
too.
That's really cool.
It is.
And I actually like had a lot of alone time, which I really enjoyed. Remember
Yeah.
we like spoke. Anyway, one of the things that we had that you scheduled for us was a haunted happy hour.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the highlights of the trip. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. I literally scheduled it on a whim because it had so many great reviews.
That's incredible.
And it was, what's it called? Pike Market or
Pike Market.
Pike Market?
The very famous public market
Right.
sign. It's Pike Market.
yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh, we're going to go there anyway. Let's see what this is about. We like haunted things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just try it
We
out.
could talk about it on the pod.
Yeah.
I love
Exactly.
that. No, the fact that you were like looking and you were like, okay, let's do it. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've gone on so many haunted tours now that I'm like, every time there's an opportunity for
Oh,
I'm like, we're doing it.
For sure.
And it was like also it was perfect because we're doing like ghoul
Right.
beans, so you're like, oh, you could talk about it on ghoul beans.
yeah.
So
This is an expense.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh
a
God,
write-off.
if this was an LLC, that would be an expense report for me.
Absolutely.
So we met her in front of a cupcake shop.
Mhm.
This woman has only been doing tours since December.
Do you know the name and the company to shout out?
So she's an independent like tour guide
Okay.
It's called the Thoughtful. Her
She's-
brand is the Thoughtful Chef.
Okay.
because she used to be a chef in Louisiana and like have a restaurant and
Wow.
I want to taste this woman's.
me
cooking.
too.
I swear.
I went to her Instagram page. Please go to the Thoughtful Chef. Her name's Carolyn. She's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we met up with her. She's just like chatting up with us. She's like this older woman, but she's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Like she's honestly has this air of mystery as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, one of the people that were supposed to come canceled last minute,
Okay.
and then the other couple that we're supposed to meet with is lost."
Oh no.
Yeah.
So we had to walk a little bit, and we met up with them. They were from
Alabama. He had lived in the area, I think 2 hours away, because he's at a naval base.
He's at a military base.
Yeah, he's on a military base, and his girlfriend's from Alabama, and they're doing long distance. They were once
his
high
fiance,
school.
I believe.
No, I think
She
they-
had an engagement ring on.
Oh, I don't know, because he was like, we rekindled because they were high school sweethearts. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
And so we started our tour, and she brought us into this margarita bar,
Mm-hmm.
and we had spicy pineapple margaritas.
That
Sounds
were
amazing.
very, very refreshing. Very it was just.
She did such a good job, and she like has the hookup in these places because she's like made deals with them, and she has like her tour guide license and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she started by telling us what she believes in.
Yeah, it was really nice. She just was like, "This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is how I feel about these energies." She wouldn't call them.
And spirits or ghosts. She'd
yeah.
say energy.
She
I love
kept saying that people's energy. Why is it still here? And that's what I want to know. That's what we're doing, is trying to figure out why is this particular place filled with all of this different energy for as long as it has been. So
And she whips out tools.
Mhm.
Like she pulls out a like temperature gun
Mm-hmm.
and also a little one of those,
EMF reader.
the
Yeah.
EMF reader. And she was like, "You guys are going to use this the whole time." So
Amazing.
they had the temperature thing, and I had the EMF reader at first, and we kept switching off.
Did it go off?
Yes.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. And again, she's only been doing this since December, and she's been on now, I think, about 7-ish tours.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to give away the full details. We would love for you to go, if you're ever in Seattle, to go do that. And if you're in Seattle, please go find her.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give away the goods, but we held tools. It consisted of 3 drinks. She said she used to do 4, and then people started getting drunk and scared, so she can't anymore. But she does an incredible job, and she brings you to all these places you didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is very beautiful. We were also very lucky that the weather was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she really just organizes it well. It's
Yes.
just like the drinks, from starting off with the margarita, like you had mentioned when after we had done the tour, how it was like an introductory drink. It's
Like
a
set
little
the
bit,
tone.
it's spicy. You're
Yeah.
like, ooh, I can't wait until the rest.
And
to
she
see
started
what's-
strong with a margarita.
She
like,
Yeah.
did. I was like,
she
damn.
came out hot. Like,
Bold choice.
yeah,
For
it's
real.
a very bold choice, I thought. And
But that's what I loved. I was like, this woman's incredible because I would have never chosen a margarita myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what a great drink to start us off with.
And then we had she brought us to a very Art Deco Roaring 20s bar.
Speakeasy.
Yeah,
kind of
and we
vibe.
had this very sparkling prosecco
Mhm.
at a very dim lit table, and she told us stories of that place.
And that place was really cool just because of the history behind it. And,
Mhm.
it was very intentional. The places she brought us and the
Mhm.
drinks that she served us.
Yeah.
She's also so conscious of mentioning the fact that we are on indigenous land.
Yes.
And actually Seattle as a whole is very, very we acknowledge and we know that the Native Americans are what made this place what it is.
Yeah.
Which I also loved. And she throws in a bombshell at the end. The last place we went to, we had ciders. I don't want to give away the spots. And she told us the history of that. And she has the hookup with these people. We spent it was just 4 people and her.
Yeah.
We spent the last hour and a half sitting with her, shooting the shit about, I literally said, okay, so do you guys know it? Do you guys feel like you've ever been haunted or you ever, whatever? We all took turns talking about the scariest shit that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she drops the bomb that she's like, I'm actually Creole.
Mm.
My dad is black.
Mm.
I'm a chef. I've lived in Scotland. She's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I wish I was her.
She's
Yeah.
a very interesting person. And I really like that we got to, because it was so small and so intimate that we got to ask those types of questions. Because,
Yeah.
if you were in a group with 10 people, no way in hell was I going to stay there for an hour and a half.
For sure.
Right.
It's too many people, too many stories. But, it was such a great experience. And I think moving forward, if we do it again, it's probably going to be a little bit, I don't know what the word that I'm looking for. But basically, it's not going to be the same. If it's, even 2 more people.
Right.
Compared
you
to
guys
what
had
it
a
was
really
last night.
special experience.
Yeah.
I don't think that she has huge groups. I think she said the most she's had in a group is 7.
Yeah.
But she's just starting off, and maybe this will push her popularity. But seriously, the best ghost tour I've ever been on.
I left her a gleaming review. I was
Oh,
like,
I
this is
know.
incredible.
We follow her on Ghoulbeans now.
Good. Well, good. I'm glad you guys had such a good
I know. I wish you guys. I want us to all go.
We
Mhm.
should.
Because she's definitely gonna vary it up from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, the whole place is haunted, so she can go
Oh
to
God.
any place she wants to. But yeah, I think that's really cool. And if you ever go to Seattle, go to her.
Yes. Go find Carolyn.
And if you're in Seattle, go to her. And also just be aware of where you're at and the opportunities around because that's so dope. And,
Seriously, we found that on Airbnb.
right? Who
Yeah.
knew that the best ghost tour you're gonna ever have was in
Seattle.
Seattle? But incredible.
Yes, seriously.
For real, I took a big chance. I was like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I was like, the worst. I mean,
The reviews were insane, and
Mhm.
that's how we know. At the end, she was like, "If you guys please leave a review," and we're like, "We are gonna leave you a thesis, man."
Yeah.
Seriously.
I did.
Good.
I was like, this is a really great ghost tour, and I hope that it expands because she's great. She was great.
When I met you, you how did you feel about ghosts when we first met?
I had complicated feelings because of my religious background and what ghosts meant
For sure.
in that type of setting.
Mm.
I always thought that they were evil, or very good. Like there was no in between. There wasn't.
Interesting.
It wasn't energy. It was like
It was a spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was convinced that if your spirit was here, was because you might have done something wrong in your life or something traumatic happened.
Very
and now you're
fair.
stuck here
Yeah.
in this limbo.
Sorry, I just like spilled a gallon of water down my shirt.
So yeah, I mean, I did believe in it, but I was also very scared.
Yeah.
I was like, if I see a
Interesting.
ghost, it's gonna like attach itself to me, and then I'm gonna be possessed.
Oh my god.
For sure.
That is bringing me back. You were a fraidy cat, and I had to like slowly break the news. Like, hey, so I have this friend Kelly, and and we talk about a lot of ghost stories, and we also play like, what's the scariest thing that could happen?
Yes. Today for our local lore live, it's less lore, more live.
Very local.
Very local. We did the hit adventure of COVID 2020, which was randonauting.
Yes.
So if you had TikTok over COVID, you know what randonauting is. But if you didn't, we'll explain it really quick. It is a app on your phone that you can get
For free.
for free. And
Things have changed.
Yeah, it
As-
used to be more.
As someone who has downloaded the app, I had to download the app again because I obviously didn't keep it on my fucking phone. But the original app, you could randonaut, I don't know, an infinite amount of times.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Here, they give you an allotted amount of times. You can't,
Really?
yeah. So, like, your daily amount of tokens was
Yeah.
like 150. And, like, certain things cost like 20 tokens. Some were 5.
Oh, damn. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah. So, it used to be that you could just do it an infinite amount of times, but now you can't.
Yeah. That's
And
weird.
the app itself looks more polished. So it
It
used to
does.
be very like,
Primitive almost.
yeah,
Like
like
for an app.
prototype. Like handwritten, the name Randonautica was written. It looked like it was like a handwritten font. And then it was an image of like a sketch of an owl with its head turned like upside down. It was like very spooky looking. And now it's like kind of profesh. Like
yeah.
it's like the location symbol on an iPhone, but like the circle is an owl head.
Yeah.
And it says like Randonautica
Yeah.
in like shiny font.
But yeah, it
generates random points.
yeah, it generates random points, and the whole purpose of it is there's different things you can click, different options, some being attractors, some being voids, and
There's one that's pseudo,
yeah.
and then there's one that's quantum. And so like I know that pseudo points are that they're called pseudo points because it uses your phone to gather those points and not like an actual like map. So it's like it limits where you could go. And then void.
Yeah. I can't remember. Void, like we had what we
Void
thought
is
it
like an
was back
emptiness.
in like it's hard because there were differing opinions on it and I didn't do too much research into it, but like it was like an attraction is you're supposed to set an intention before you go. So like we picked a lot of color, number, like that's what people pick. And an attractor is supposed to bring you somewhere where your intention would be attracted to that space. And a void would be kind of the opposite of that. And I know when we were first doing it in 2020, we definitely thought differently. We thought attractors were more of a positive energy and voids were more of like a chaotic energy.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say not necessarily negative, but definitely chaotic.
Yeah. Which would track for what happened with us. But doing more research now, things have changed a little bit. But I think the general assumption of the app is that it generates random points from like a system that was created a long time ago. And like the trend was just to download this app, set an intention of what you wanted to see. So like people were doing anything.
Yeah.
And then it generates a spot and you go there and you might see, a lemon tree if your intention was fruit or something like that.
So we've done a couple of these before.
Yeah.
And today we did them and we kind of like we got exactly what we're talking about now.
Yeah, so we set the intention. Well, we set the first intention as ghost because you got to go hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And nothing happened because sometimes nothing happens. Like
it took us to a bouncy house.
Yeah, and like it could be someone died on that bouncy house.
Yeah, truly.
But I just think like it is generating random points and you have to be very open to it and you also have to be like really into it. Otherwise, sometimes you're just going for a good walk and that's cool too. An adventure is an adventure. But our second intention, we did an attractor.
Purple.
Yeah, it was the color purple. So we all took a moment, we breathed, we thought purple thoughts, and it took us the exact point that the little point thing was on the map was a purple Northwestern Medicine sign in front of the like doctor's office building, which was pretty dope.
It was exactly the point.
Yeah, but even on the way over there, we saw a lot of purple.
Yeah,
purple flowers.
Yeah. I saw the random purple reclining chair that was on someone's porch.
That was wild.
There was like a sign that said like the name of the town. I don't want to like triangulate ourselves.
Yeah.
But it said the name of the town and it was in purple.
Yeah. It was a lot of stuff that like I've never noticed before. And like maybe that's the great thing about randonauting. Maybe you're just more aware since you're like looking around for stuff. But like it very much was purple was leading us to.
I felt like that was good that we were doing that too, like pointing out on the way.
Yeah.
Like being involved into it.
Yeah.
Not just like being like, I hope there's purple.
Yeah. So I think that was really good. And we were like, oh yay, it worked.
It really did.
It really did. And then our second intention, or our third one really, what did we intend? 5. The number 5. So it generated a point for us, and we went, and we were seeing 5 everywhere. Everyone's license had like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
This clock had the wrong time, and it was 5:55.
Yeah.
The speed limit was 35.
Yeah. There were 5 flags in front of a school building.
5 restaurants in a strip.
And then we get to where the point is, and I swear to God, I have never. So right where the point is and like it's a high school, and there were like 5 different parking lots that you could go to, and then right where that dot landed was a pole with the speed limit for this school, which was 5. Yeah. My ass has never seen a speed limit of 5 in my life.
Never.
There's never a speed limit on a school grounds.
But what a random speed limit.
Yeah,
so slow.
I guess I could picture like on a golf course or something, the speed limit might be 5.
Yeah,
but I've never seen one. I guess for me, and
fair.
I've been in a lot of high schools, so for the fact that the one it took us to
what are you doing
was
in
the
high
speed
school?
limit of 5. I've been around a lot of high school.
You know,
no, I'm just kidding.
I'm familiar with high schools.
Been around a high schooler. I'm not creepy, I promise.
No, Kelly's
not my type.
No, certainly not.
Not mine.
You like him to be like 40. There he is. Like the father he is.
I think that
like
that was
nothing
our experience.
spooky happened today.
No,
although
and we did try, guys. We really tried. And you know what? We've been really lucky finding spooky stuff in our local lores. So it was a shame, but it was bound to happen that we'd come up with nothing.
But that being said, we have been on really insane randonautica.
Yeah.
adventures.
2020 was a wild.
Was it 2020 or 2020?
2020.
Oh, was it 2021?
No, it was 2020, babe.
Okay.
It was COVID. Like, it was what we were allowed to do.
What did you know about randonautica?
Nothing.
Literally
I didn't know
nothing.
anything. I was like, what the hell is randonauting?
It was you and I on TikTok, and we were like, we should do it. Like, what else are we fucking doing?
Yeah.
I'm laid off from my job.
Literally.
I've got sinus infections out the wazoo. Let's go.
Oh my God, please don't even.
Do you remember
Don't do
how
that to
we
me.
thought we were dying from COVID, and we'd just be like, are you still alive?
You're like, I can't breathe.
Sinus infection.
Like, yeah, I have allergies.
That's when I snorted pepper. Do you remember? I snorted like chili powder.
No?
What?
Kelly
For fun?
No.
Let me feel
What?
something.
No. I thought it would clear my sinuses.
Are you let it be known Kelly's married to a nurse. Why the fuck would you do that?
I really thought I was dying.
You said it's the same thing of when it's in soup and it clears
You're like,
out
you know
my
what? This is like a
sinuses."
vaccine for my face.
I think I had spicy soup, and I was like, I bet I could.
Oh,
I bet I
no.
could power
Oh my
punch my
God, Kelly,
sinuses.
you're so smart and so stupid for that. Why would you do
I
that?
don't know. And it was at a time where I was like anything to not get sick with COVID.
You're one of those people.
Literally.
You're like, this is going to work.
How,
I was
and
like,
please
give-
tell me the aftermath.
I think I got a sinus infection.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably
The
not.
chili powder got stuck up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did your eyes burn?
Yeah. Everything burned.
Tell me about it.
Oh, it felt like I snorted chili pepper, and then Like, it didn't do the
My eyes
desired.
are watering thinking about it.
It didn't do the desired effect of like clearing anything out.
You
It
were
just
like slamming your head on the ground, like crying.
yeah, and I got stuck there. I think.
Did your nose like get swollen? I feel like because the chili
No.
powder's up there in your nasal cavity.
I think it
it's
like
just, like
kind of did the back of my throat thing,
was
and I think
soaked.
I like wanted to throw up a lot, which was a huge fear at the time. So it
Damn.
really,
You
really
really
messed
messed
me
yourself
up. Yeah,
you
it
really
was.
set yourself
What a
up for
double
disaster.
whammy.
It was really a bad situation.
Fuck.
But that being said, other than doing that, I wasn't doing anything else.
Right.
So we went rando nodding, and we had some spooky ass things happen to us.
Yeah, like at first we kind of had the same experience, I would say, of like
Yeah.
today, where it was like we would set our intention to like 7, and there would be like it would be the address of something would be 777.
Yeah.
It was weirdly working every single time.
It was, and we were doing voids. I think we started with attractors because we were like, I'm scared.
Yeah, and then we're like, we should do a void.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we brought Muriel
Muriel.
and Maddie Cakes.
Mhm.
And Maddie Cakes was a pretty stronger non-believer.
Skeptic.
Yeah, he was pretty skeptic, a man of science, as they say.
Boring.
Correct. That's what they also say after that. So it was really cool to see like the effects that it had on him. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's really what pushed him into being more of a believer.
Well, because
Finally.
after we were
Yeah.
having very like happy-go-lucky randonautica time, it kind of we delved into scary time.
Yeah. So should we go into the first one?
Yeah.
All right, you want me to do it?
Sure.
So the first one that we did was scary. That was scary. We were having a go lucky time, and we were like, you
Mhm.
know what? There's like a forest preserve around here. Wouldn't it be cool? And I think what we did was like we did it a couple times till it like landed in the forest preserve or in a forest preserve.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we did it until we were like, no, that's a parking lot. I don't want that.
Yeah. Which I think is fair.
Yeah.
And because what it was is what we thought, which is important to note for these stories, and I do believe it is the case, is you're supposed to set your intention, and then once you see the location, you could either decline it or accept it, was how the old app worked.
It does not work like that
Yeah.
anymore.
But that's how the old one worked, and it was like once you accepted it, you should follow through and hit the point.
It's
Because
like a
a co-
Ouija board, but for
Literally.
random
Very.
nodding.
Literally.
Yeah. So it was very much like the real world ghost rules were that if you were going to go to the point, you're fucking going to the point.
Yeah. If you click, you read the terms and conditions.
Yes.
Because you have made a contract.
It's like you better say hello and goodbye.
And
Correct.
yes, and the thing about it was that every single point we had gone to that point, what we manifested was there
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some capacity.
So, yeah. So, we
Oh,
set the
God.
point. Well, let's just say our intention was yellow.
Yeah, the color yellow.
Matt said death, and we got pretty upset with him.
We were like, what the
Oh
hell,
my
man?
god, it was death.
Yeah, he was dumb.
Yeah, because why we
He
were like,
was
we're trying to be chill.
Oh, so funny.
It's the
I'm such a
skeptic,
boy.
man.
I'm a man of science.
Let's do death. And then we did yellow.
Yeah, we did yellow.
And it brought us to a forest preserve near my old apartment. And so we are walking there, and
Mhm.
we're seeing yellow flowers, and we're seeing
A cyclist with a yellow backpack on.
Yeah.
We genuinely were seeing a ton of yellow stuff.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw like the birds with the yellow and red like wings.
Red winged
Mhm.
blackbirds.
Yes, they followed us on a lot of random nodding adventures.
to that.
And
The point was inside the woods and not off the trail.
yeah, so we get to the point, we're on the trail, and then we get to right where the point is, but it's like off. You have to go to like through the thicket.
Mm-hmm.
And so Matt is walking first. He's
We-
got the phone because we're like, you go first. We're scared to walk into
It's
the woods.
It's broad daylight. It's like 1
So
p.m.
sunny. It's beautiful.
It's so bright out, and there's no, like I said, it's not off the. It's like off the trail, but it's not.
Like you could still see people riding their bikes
Yeah,
and walking
yeah.
past us.
Yeah,
and
like-
it wasn't like
It was so close. We're like, okay, it's right there. Let's
Matt
just
had
like
to
go
find-
through the thicket.
He had to find a soft opening though. He was like,
Mhm.
"Let me go first, and I'll like kind of clear as I walk."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in the back.
Yeah, the order is Matt, me, Tamara, Liz.
Mariel.
And so we are going
Matt was
through.
fucking gliding through the woods.
Matt lived in this thicket. He was like, here's the easy passageway, here's everything. Meanwhile, every stick slapped me in the face.
Cut me at the ankles,
Every burr got on my skin. Not
hair,
even
and
my,
clothes.
Yeah.
I was fine.
It was the hardest piece of like forest brush to walk through.
I was like, surely there was an easier way in here.
Right. Surely we could have just like
I was
hopped
like-
through this bush.
I was like, this is a breeze.
Which is
You
crazy.
kept complaining about like
Yeah.
stuff slapping you, and I was like, that's so weird. Like I'm just walking through.
And Matt also, he's not
He's
on
leading,
the pod
remember.
right now, but he did say that he had the easiest time going through. Like he had to move stuff, but like nothing was hitting
Right.
him. Like
I had
he
to
could
snap
easily-
branches.
Yeah. So as we're walking in, I do see off to the side what we would call a human-sized nest.
Literally, the phrase that we kept repeating, and to this day, whenever we're referencing it, we say the human nest.
Yes. And it instantly makes me like cold.
It's giving me scary tears now.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
Oh, I was going to say, you and I saw it at the same time, but we were a little bit separated. So I caught up to you
yes.
and said, do you see that?
Yeah.
And you and I've been staring at it.
Right. I've been like, we're waiting. I've been watching it to make sure no one comes out. We would describe this as an igloo made of branches and twigs and fur.
And leaves. And it's literally a dome.
Yeah.
That's about 6'2", because Matt would be able to see over it, but still have a little bit of an obstructed view.
Yeah.
That being said, Matt didn't see it, and neither did Mathieu.
To this day, have no idea what it looks like. We drew them a picture. We could draw it. And they had no idea. They were disgusted because we were describing it in detail, and they were like, I never once saw this. It was... I
The
cannot
front-
stress this enough to you guys. We were walking straight towards it. Like, there was not even trees in the way to get to it.
Because
Like,
they took the trees down to build it.
Right, but, like, the fact that they didn't see it, I can't believe, because, like, it was, like,
We
were
were also talking about it.
Right, and if we had walked, like, 5 paces over, we could have touched it. You know what I mean? And that's why I was so happy when Matt veered, because I was like, oh, good, he saw it, and he also doesn't want to go by the human nest.
Yeah, no, I remember you guys keep like talking about it, and I was like, what else are you guys talking about? I'm like, look at
Literally?
this meadow full of
Yeah.
yellow flowers.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, so so Matt and Mariette, well, Mariette kind of like is, for reference, 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Scurried up to Matt's side, and they were kind of like leading the pack. And then me and Kelly were in the back talking about, like, I don't know, somebody definitely lives in there. Like, I'm getting horrible, disgusting. It was dark as fuck in the forest. Like, and yet we could still turn and potentially see people riding their bikes like through.
It was a very weird situation.
They couldn't see us, but we could see them.
It felt like if we got trapped there, it'd be that horrible situation where, like, we were so close to being safe.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yes, like when people get lost in the woods, but they're only a mile in.
Exactly.
Very that.
It was like very intentionally built.
Yes.
No, but
in the
seriously,
location
I
that
don't
it
know
was.
how to, like, I really want to drill this image in your guys' brain. It was branches that were woven together, and the branches were also, like, there was fur caught on them, and then there was an opening inside of the dome in which we did not go in.
No, but you would have had to crawl through it. Like, so
You would have had to
very,
at least bend.
very igloo-like.
Very, 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 very.
And it was pitch black in there, so, like, it was woven sticks. It wasn't like sunlight was
Matted.
going in there.
It was also not fresh.
No.
The branches were dead.
So I remember us very vividly, like, stuck in branches. Like, we're kind of hunched over, we're trying not to get hit, and we're talking about how disgusting it looks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look over and we see Matt and Luce in this meadow. It's
Clearing.
this very, like, what is it?
They
Like,
were talking-
crop circle, very
Yeah.
mini circle of, like, grass and flowers,
Yellow flowers.
and the sun is shining through.
Ugh.
And, like, in this part of it was so dark.
Dark.
Like, no sun was getting through these sparse trees. Like, I don't know where we were at in this, like, other world that we stepped into. But there was only like certain spots where sunlight was going through, and I looked, and you, Luce, were in one of them, and you were just like, looked as peaceful as can be.
Yeah, I remember me and Matt were just kind of having the side conversation of like, should we go over there? Like, it seems nice. It
Yeah.
seems very calming, and it looks really pretty because all of these yellow flowers. That was our intent.
Yeah.
Like, let's check it out.
Literally, it was as if you were in a forest and then an inexplicable clearing
Yeah.
that was so circular.
Right.
And then the sun was beaming down as if we were going to get abducted. Like, it was so beautiful and bright.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like we were in dead trees, we were in mud, like there wasn't grass, there weren't flowers
No.
where we were at. Like it was like that pale white brown of like dead trees, and then just this beautiful like
Clearing.
yeah. And like I remember you and I being like, okay, I think we
This
should
is
probably
suspicious.
leave. Like it feels really bad in
Like
here.
scary movie level.
Yeah, and then we looked and we saw them like in the field, and we were like,
Yeah.
guys, we should go. And they were like, well, let's
Why?
hang out. Like, look at how beautiful this is. And we looked at each other and we were like, we have to leave.
Yeah, this is like the part of the movie, guys, where the killer comes out of the fucking human nest
Yeah, they
and slaughter us in the field.
yeah, and like we see the people driving by, and we like go to scream, and they chop our head off.
And your husband was bummed.
He was so
He was-
pissed.
Yeah, we were both like, aw. Like, we
Yeah.
wanted, it was definitely like one of those
They're
movie-
overreacting.
Yeah.
No, it was like that movie scenario where you're just laying down in a meadow full of flowers
Yeah.
and you're just maybe you're reading a book.
Not me. I
You
was
were
looking,
in like
my
a
head was
little
turning like an owl.
manga comic of
Yes.
like with like your little heart eyes, and
Yeah.
we were like in Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, two different movies. And but on our way out, I remember thinking this is the most obstacle filled like little path we took.
You had a
Like,
hard time
why-
getting out.
I was like, why are there's so many branches? Why are there so many weird like stumps that came out of nowhere?
Mhm.
Why am I now getting stabbed by everything?
Meanwhile,
I-
we were sprinting through it like it was all cleared.
I have never gotten out of a forest easier.
I didn't get touched by a single branch on the way out. I
No.
literally flew out of there.
It was whatever was in that spot, that pinpoint that we were brought to, did not want Tamara and I there, and
No.
wanted to keep the two of you there.
I was like, I'll stay.
That was
That's-
very clear.
Ugh.
Like we just had such different experiences
It
that
was literally Blair Witch level scary. Like, it
Yeah.
was so real.
it just really wasn't inviting to us. And we think it's because perhaps, I mean, like, I know that when you and I saw the human nest, we were like,
Mhm.
that's a very like bad male
Masculine
Yeah,
energy.
like masculine energy. And so the general consensus that we felt was, you know what? I bet like it was inviting to masculine energy, and like our feminine energy was not welcome.
I don't know. I literally, there's no explanation. Like, I kept turning my head, like I said, like an owl, like looking for
Yeah.
things because I felt like we were being watched the whole time.
It was definitely an experience, so much so that like even though, you know, we didn't see a ghost, we didn't see anything happen, but the vast differences and the way these two were drawn and like called to stay. Not even like, oh, I was drawn to that spot because it was beautiful, but it was like, I do not want to leave and you're making me leave. Like I know that in that moment
We're
that
making
planted,
them leave.
yeah, it planted a seed in Matt's head where he was like, that was kind of weird. Like that was kind of spooky.
Mm-hmm. So that was the first like real spooky, scary Randonautica experience. A while later, we had decided to do it again, and this time we did not. It just took us to the woods.
It did. It took us to Mallard Lake. It took us to a spot pretty deep into it. And so this place is less forest dense and more of a like preserve. So there's
Yeah.
like tall grass, there's a lot of lakes.
There's a very scenic bridge.
Yeah.
It's also next to like a sanitation plant, which doesn't sound idyllic, but it really is. Like,
Yeah, so it was an old landfill, and so they did the thing where they like put grass on top of the
Mhm.
mounds, so it looked like very beautiful hills.
yeah, like rolling mountains, honestly.
So it took us away, and we were going on this path, and the path ends, but it ends up into like a very thin foresty area that like
a
you
marsh, really.
can, yeah, and you can see the other side like from the entryway. It's very like thick trees, but it looked like it was very clear and open.
Scenic.
Yeah. And there was kind of like a trail made. It looked like a game trail basically, like through the dirt, but it looked like people or something was walking on it. So
Yikes.
we were like, okay, we'll just go through here. So we went through there, and then we come out, and it's another path again. And this one, I think, is like for when you're in the sanitation area. But
yeah, so there's a part where you walk the trail, and you've gotten to the end because it's gated off. You
Yeah.
cannot go into this damn sanitation point. Which
Yeah.
we were like, that's fine because our point is actually way further.
But it also
Exactly.
wasn't really a trail. It was just
right,
it was
just
all mud.
yeah,
and
it
we
was
just
just like
had
a-
to walk through there.
yeah, it was just a clear like path through woods, and we were like, well, we can fit here, so we're good.
So that part of the trail, that part of the walk over to our Randonautica point was dark as fuck.
It was really dark in there, and like again, it wasn't a huge forest. It was
Mhm.
just like a bit of trees,
And
but
it
it was
was-
very dark.
And some of the trees were charred.
Yeah,
And bare.
yeah,
it
it
was
was
just-
weird. It was kind of what I imagined. Like it's obviously not, but like the trees were really tall. So like when you're like walking through the redwood forest, like how tall the trees are, where like
Mhm.
where you're walking, like you're just seeing trunks and you're
Yeah.
just seeing like
Bare
the
trees.
ground. Yeah, but like the top is really thick from
Yeah.
all the brush. Like
Yeah.
obviously not a redwood. Like please, we're in Illinois, but
Right.
But it was like that. Like it was very open, but it was very dark because the tops of the trees were very
Mhm.
thick. But then we get through the other side. We're walking on a path, and it's beautiful. We got the hills to the left of us. We
Mhm.
got grass, and we can't see the lakes, but we know they're right there. And the
nothing
sun's shining.
But red-winged blackbirds.
yeah, red-winged blackbirds all the way.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. They're like hopping along with us. They're like
Mhm.
flying and landing farther down.
Mhm.
They're leading us. And we're like, this is gonna be great. We're gonna find something really cool.
I remember now that it's just popping up. I remember commenting. I was like, "This feels like a Studio Ghibli film because you know how like I don't know. It was just so serene,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it was like I'm just thinking about Spirited Away, where they're going through. They walk through that,
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was very that.
and
It's-
then
yeah.
and then all of a sudden now her parents are pigs because they're eating so much. Like
Literally.
it almost felt like all of a sudden we turned into
So
It did, because the forest was so dark. It felt like we walked through a tunnel to a different world, because we got out and it was so beautiful and it was such like a nice view. And we're like, in Illinois, these rolling hills.
and suddenly alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were people cycling. There were people like on the bridge. There's people fishing, and we can still see the people fishing, but they're way far now.
Yeah.
We were like, all we can hear is our own footsteps.
Yeah. So we walked quite a distance, and then it tells us to kind of like veer off the path again. And like there's a very thin line of trees. Like if we were to walk through them, it wouldn't be dark. Like it was just some trees.
Literally a line of trees.
Yes. And then the grass, though, was so tall. It was as tall as our little meatball.
Of course,
I couldn't see. I couldn't
Yeah.
see over it.
again, it's like it's a lake, so there's
Yeah.
it's very marshy. So the
Yeah.
tall grass is like very similar to what you would see around a unkept lake, like
Yeah.
reeds, and
So then we're walking through.
there's like holes from animals.
yeah. And so it's getting, I do feel like nerves kind of shot up for me just because the grass was taller and stuff.
and we
so
were
it was like,
alone.
yeah. And honestly, if anything, I'm like, I'm going to like step on a snake, or I'm going to get like a tick or something.
Yeah,
like,
the vibes changed after the tree tunnel.
I do believe that, like, after we got off the path, it no longer felt like, oh my God, it's such a beautiful sunny day. It was like, now we have to, like, put ourselves in a situation where we're within this grass. So we come through and we get to kind of like a little riverbank, and there's a stream going by. And
A
it's-
brook, if you will.
Yeah, it's not like it's not deep, but it's muddy and there is water like running. But we hit like a dam, and so we were like, well, we could probably make it over this. And the point was so close. Like you hopped this river and you had to walk maybe like 10, 20 feet.
So we were still in like the tall brown grass,
Yeah.
and then it was like a bank,
Yeah.
and then a brook, and then some more mud bank.
Yeah.
But then the tallest green grass you've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
It's like cornfield, but grass.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally, it came up to my shoulders.
Oh,
it was so
yeah.
tall. I'm 5'7".
It was really tall.
it was unnerving to look at.
Yeah, it was like encapsulating.
And suddenly the clouds are coming now.
yeah.
And it got cold.
And so,
Do you remember that?
yeah.
The cold air like started rushing in.
Yeah. And we were really focused on getting across.
Because
And
remember,
so, like,
once you accept it, you accept it.
exactly. So we were really focused and we're like, we could totally jump that. Like, that'd be fine. And Matt was like, I'll go first. And we were like, great. So he like jumps across and he gets his foot in the mud. And so he's getting that out. And while this is happening, Tamara, Luce, and I are like looking at each other and we're like, are you here? Like, it felt like shuffling through the grass. It sounded
Yeah,
like what it
through the
sounded
reeds.
like as we were walking up.
And we kept looking at Matt. We were
Yeah.
like, let's keep our eye on Matt because he
Yeah.
was the only one who had jumped. I sure as hell was not allowed
Yeah.
to
Well, you
So-
wouldn't have made it.
jump. No, I would
No.
have fallen into the
The
mud.
mud.
So we were all gung ho, and when we saw Matt like get his foot a little muddy, and we were like, "Well,"
Yeah.
and then Tamara and I were like, "Well, we could still go," and then Luce was like, "I'm not going,"
Okay.
and then we started hearing these noises, and we're like, "Yeah, honestly,
then-
like." Yeah, we were like, you know what? Like, the clouds are coming. It's going to rain. Like, Matt, why don't you just come back? Like, it's not that big of a deal. And Matt has never been so determined to walk to a random point in his life.
In the
Mhm.
brush.
Yeah, he was like,
Alone.
guys, I just like jumped over this like stream. Like, I'll just go. Like, we have to finish it. And we were like, dude, it's not that. Like, let's just go. Like, we don't want it to rain. It's getting cold. Like,
It's
we
dark
don't-
now.
like,
we
I'm
hear
not-
something behind us and we can't see it. Because
Yeah,
it's
there's
We're
tall
hearing,
grass.
like,
running
noises.
up on me.
Literally. No, I'm like hearing like either an animal or like a person.
I'm being stalked over here, so I'd really
So like,
just,
can you
rather
like come
leave.
back? And so he's over there,
Yeah,
and we're remember on the other side of the bank.
and he's like, just give me your phone, like throw it over. Like, this was the thing, because like we were like, oh, if you want to fucking go, then just go. Like, whatever.
Yeah, go finish it and come back.
And he was like, toss me your phone. I'll just go finish it. Like, I bet I could see it. And right as like,
oh my god, I have
we're-
chills.
Right as we're like standing there being like, I guess we can toss the phone over. What do we hear? Yeah, literally that. Like, literally the beginning
I
of
heard the,
Ariel's song.
And literally all of us froze and we're
Yeah.
looking at each other and we're like, we're leaving.
It was, I have chills.
Me too. I have chills all over my body.
It was the worst feeling that just suddenly,
Literally. I don't know how to
Yeah.
iterate to you guys. It literally was a woman singing.
yeah, and it was loud. Like, it was soft but loud because like Matt heard it clearly, we heard it clearly.
There's a running brook.
Yeah, like it was so gross. It was like we heard it, deadly silence, and we're like, okay, Matt, come back. And he was like, yep.
Yeah. It was like there was a sense of urgency that wasn't there.
Definitely. And it was horrible walking back. Like,
Oh my god.
I get tears.
Me
so
too.
as we're walking back, we're still in tall grass that
Mhm.
like feels very unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like there is someone standing over there that can
Mhm.
see us and is watching us.
Yeah,
We have
I
to-
absolutely had so much anxiety. I remember my
Oh,
heart rate
yeah.
just being so
Oh my
like
God.
high because I was like, I need to get out of here. We need to leave.
Yeah.
My
This is
heart rate was through the roof. It was so like visceral. Like
Yeah.
there was someone in there that
I
was
gonna shit
singing to
myself
us.
from
Yeah.
being so scared.
And so we got to the path, and like I do believe that every step that we made, that we like noted on the way there of like, oh, now we're by the hills, oh, now
Mhm.
we're in the forest. Like every step that we got closer to getting out, I felt better.
Mm-hmm.
But like it still was that feeling of being watched. It was still that
Mhm.
foreboding feeling of
Mhm.
like we are not safe over here and we need
Mhm.
to get out.
It took
And-
longer to get out
Oh my god.
than it did to get
Yeah.
in.
And by the way, as we're leaving, all of a sudden it's drizzling. It's very cloudy.
Yeah.
Like we are running out a storm.
Yes.
And like we just didn't see that coming on. Again, it was very sunny. It was very
Mhm.
beautiful. We were like in another world on the way there. And all of a sudden the storm came out. And so we're talking about it like kind of idiots. We're just like, Matt, that thing was after you. Like it
Mhm.
presented itself as a female voice because you're a man and you
Mhm.
were fighting to go over it. And the second it thought like, oh, you might turn around and not come, it like reached out to you to be like,
Mhm.
I'm a woman, you know?
Mhm.
And like Matt was like, yeah, that's a fucking disgusting. And like I do remember him like turning back a ton to
Me
like
too.
see. And like he said he didn't see anything, but like just the the need to keep like looking back and like see. It's
Mhm.
just so nasty.
At one point, I remember we mentioned the birds. At one point on our trek over there, the birds stopped showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then on the way back, they started showing up again. We're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was like we reached a certain safe point, it felt like,
Mhm.
because like the birds were there and then they started following us back.
And there were
Mhm.
no birds where we were.
No.
No.
There was
no type of bird.
nothing.
It was not even. We saw those men fishing, but
In the
they were at
distance.
least like 100 feet, 200
More.
feet away.
I just feel like we should be more aware, because I feel like in a lot of our stories we notice after the fact that like it's deadly quiet.
Mhm.
There's no insect noise when I was just hearing it. There's no bird noise when I was
No.
just seeing them. And like I feel like maybe as we learn lessons, we can pay attention more and be like, hey, where'd those birds go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that might help us a lot.
Well, another it doesn't help that we're in a group and we're also just like chit chatting
For
and like being like,
sure.
oh, that was weird.
I mean, like things turned so quickly. We didn't notice any of like the nature stuff happening.
well, okay. To be fair, that literally happened like
in a blink of an eye.
literally. It was like wild.
Yeah, it was really fast. Everything that happened it happened one after one time after another. I can't talk.
Yes.
But like yeah, it was crazy. I
So
hated
then,
that.
by the time we got back to the point in the trail that was the tree line,
Yeah.
now the tree line. If you thought it was fucking dark on the way there, I was like, I cannot go back in there right now.
And like it looked a lot longer. Like I said, I feel like when we were
Mhm.
first walking in, I was like, oh, I see the other side there. Like we
Yeah.
could totally walk through this.
Yep.
It did not feel like you could see the other side from the point we were going in.
And so now the order of things, I think, because Kelly wanted to get out real bad. I believe you were first,
Yeah, I was jogging.
and I
Speed
was
walking.
I was behind you, and then Matt was trailing,
Mm-hmm.
and like we were kind of like being cautious because it's muddy now.
Yeah.
Like it had rained, it was wet and muddy, and there was no grass, and I just like I don't know.
I feel like we hit halfway through the forest, and
I was like, we cannot stop right now.
Yeah.
We have to keep walking.
yeah,
And then everybody's like, okay. And I was like, no, we need to go faster.
yeah,
And it's because I'm getting scary tears. Clear as literally my own voice in my own head, I heard like a masculine voice go, 10, 9.
yeah. Oh my god, I just got
8.
chills.
Me too.
It's disgusting.
And I was like, we have about 10 seconds to get out of the fucking forest.
Yeah,
and now we're in a dead sprint.
You literally said, and we were halfway through, and it still looked like the distance that we had to walk that first time.
mhm.
And I remember you saying, because we were like, why? Like, why? What's happening? Like, tell us. And you were like, I hear counting down in my head, and we were all like,
yeah.
Well, when we first walked through there, I felt like there was like, for some reason, my brain was like, there's absolutely somebody walking alongside you 100 feet away and you can't see them. Like, like
Ew.
one of those scary movies where somebody's
Yeah.
literally like hunting you
Yeah.
or just at least following you.
Well, because Matt said it felt like a game trail. I'm like, we were the game.
for
Like,
yeah,
very-
100%.
It very much gave like, you should not be over here by yourself. Certainly, if you don't go to Mallard Lake alone.
yeah.
If go with a buddy at the very least.
Seriously.
Um,
My suggestion is at least 3 people, and honestly, it doesn't feel safe all the time.
For sure.
right. Don't go randonauting over there.
Yeah.
And so at this, like I said that, and everybody was like very serious about it. And we sprinted out to the other side,
Yeah.
the other side of the fucking tree portal,
Yeah.
and the rain stopped,
Oh my god.
And it got warm.
It got warm
and
again.
the sun came out.
We watched the sunset. It was nice pink and
Oh my
orange clouds.
God.
It was like we entered back into our world. It was so crazy.
And the thing is like nothing. We're trying to manifest a number, and it
Yeah.
didn't show nothing of that. Nothing.
That's true. We did manifest something very simple again. Like
Yes.
we didn't do like creepy. We were very specific not to be stupid about it and be like ghosts. Well, yeah. Other than that.
yeah.
Like today, we fucking were like ghosts, spooky,
Baby.
Yeah.
and nothing. So maybe that's not the way to play it.
Yeah, no, we very much were like, let's find something very simple. And I don't know, maybe it was 3. The number was 3, and she gave us 3 notes.
But so we got in the car, and I Googled Mallard Lake, and at the top of like the news section on Google, it was that a woman named Cheyenne Cluse had gone missing in December of 2017, and it was unsolved because the last place her phone dinged was Mallard Lake. And in January of this year, her remains were found. Now, I did
Yeah.
see on almost every article that the family wants privacy, so I'm not going to like reveal anything.
Yeah.
But they only found her remains January of this year.
Yeah, so that's what, 5 years, right?
Yeah.
2017, 2023.
Yeah.
And they could only identify her through dental records
Dental
at this point.
records.
Because
Yeah.
it's been so long.
So that was, we instantly were like, oh my God,
I
what if that was like
I started
more
crying.
connected? Yeah.
It was so spooky and so like, I mean, and she was so young
Yeah.
and the voice sounded very young.
Yeah. And like, we have no idea.
Of course.
But like, I know when we were there, we were like, absolutely, that was her ghost. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we, you know.
Her
yeah.
remains were not found at Mallard Lake.
Yeah.
Right.
But that, like, at the time, they hadn't found her remains yet.
Right.
So we were over here like, what the
speculating.
fuck do we do?
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, what do we say? Like, we heard a voice singing to us. And
Right.
like,
we heard a disembodied voice. I think you should check this brush.
Right.
Like, we're going to get arrested for murder.
and she hasn't been seen since 2017. Like, that
Yeah.
would have been so fucking, like, ugh.
Yeah.
The cops would have been like, don't waste my time.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And
But-
again, thank God she, like, was not found there.
Yes.
And now she can be at peace.
Yeah.
But those were our Randonautica stories.
Yeah, I would say like, you know, I don't know if it's the app, I don't know if it knows to bring us to spooky spots or like at
Mhm.
least energy charged spots. That is what it advertises. Or if we just happened upon, no, it gotta be. I believe in Randonautica.
I gotta say, I think there's no denying the experiences that we've had.
yeah,
And I think that I think that you gotta keep it, you gotta be very open.
you
have
very
to be
open.
very willing to accept like little signs.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for that reason, like you could definitely argue like you're just more aware because you're looking for it.
How do you feel about Randonautica?
The same way I feel as like ghost hunting. It's kind of like you can have all the intention in the world. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen.
That's fair.
It's kind of like what Carolyn said in the haunted tour. She was like, you can't force them to show up.
Yeah.
You know, we just know that they're there, or like you know that with randonauting that these points can bring you to your intention, or maybe something that's not your intention at all, something completely out of
That is fair.
you know what you were originally thinking about. So I think it's just you have to go in there, not. I guess you can't go in there being like, oh, this is gonna work 100%.
Yeah. Again, like how today we had our little bitty ones work, but like when we were trying to do like baby and like spooky, it didn't work. And it's random, so it's not always gonna work.
Right. I totally agree. And I think like thinking about the times where we did stumble upon something that like actually interacted or at least felt more energetically charged, we were very open. We were coming off highs of like it working.
Yeah.
And like we were also open to like what we were experiencing on the way there. So it wasn't like, and even today, we weren't like, I mean, the first one that didn't work, we were just silent and listening to music. And then we got there and we're like, oh, it's just a bouncy house. But on the way to the other ones, we're like, oh my God, the flowers are purple.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, the sign's purple. And I think it's like the more you open yourself up to it, the more you're going to experience. And I think like, right, who knows if Randonautica was like, you're going to hear a ghost voice when you get here. I think it was more like we were open to the experience.
Whatever.
Yeah, we were like, oh my God, the birds are leading us there. Like, look at how crazy this thing is. And we were so open when we were over there that like we were able to experience something like that, which I think you have to be open to experience stuff. Matt, when you heard it, like, were you instantly like bail, abort? Or would, yeah.
It was scary, guys. Like I don't know how to tell
No,
you. It was
yeah.
not inviting in any way.
She
was going for inviting, and it gave I'm scared demon.
literally, she was like, this'll get him. And unfortunately for her, it was the wrong move.
Totally the wrong move.
Yeah.
Should have just stayed silent.
Yeah, that was the best thing she could have done.
She should have just reached out her little hand.
Ugh. Yeah, grabbed his ankle. I will note that this was the event that fully like Matt was like, I can't.
It's unexplained.
Yeah, I
Unexplained.
can't deny that there's something in the universe like that, you know. And I think that's really cool. Like for that, I think
That was a pivotal moment.
yeah, I think the lake spirit because the
Yeah.
lady of the lake,
Oh wow.
future Tamra.
Oh, that is so me. That's so me. Maybe that's me from another dimension.
That'd be dope.
Okay, so
That's
it was.
fair.
So
It-
you're saying it was a signal. No matter what, no matter where you were going to stop doing what you were doing. Okay.
That's fair because yeah, it's not like someone called for help. It's not like it was just like a noise that would have been like, oh, that's someone else
So
over
true.
there.
I mean, if we had heard help, I think I would have gone more.
Oh man, you know what? I still wouldn't, and I'm sorry. And I think that is like a fight or flight for me, but I'm not gonna be Ted Bundy'd.
Right. I think no, but the issue is that we were in a group,
You
and
can find your dog with your broken leg
I would-
because I will not go.
oh, that's different.
But I think like a disembodied voice asking for help.
But it was so clearly disembodied is the thing. Like, so if it had sounded even more human and maybe like further down there, I would not have moved from where I was, but I would have been like, hello?
Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
think I would
fair.
have called back if somebody said help.
but
So-
that sing song was so like
Yeah, it was
definitive.
It felt like it was just out of sight behind
Mhm.
Matt.
Mhm.
Like that's how.
Like the next thing after Matt was this thing.
Right, exactly. Like if Matt had stayed any quicker, he would have been like touched or grabbed. Is what it felt like. Yeah,
It had to be close because it was a soft sing. It wasn't like she was like, ah.
right.
it
She
wasn't
wasn't
that.
belting. She wasn't
was
Christina
literally-
Aguilera.
No. She was doing Rush like, ah.
Yeah.
I would have felt way more. I would have been like, Christina?
Christina, do you need help? No, it was very like
A childlike song.
yeah, just like it felt like a young woman.
Yep.
It felt like exactly what someone would try to do to entice a man to be like, hello, are you
Mhm.
okay? You know?
That's what she wanted you to do, I think. She wanted to be like, hello, is anybody down here?
Yeah.
And like keep going.
She'd be like, yes.
Ew.
But you saw the grass move too on the other side, didn't you?
I was waiting for you to say that.
I fucking
The
forgot about
fuck?
that.
I
What?
literally cannot believe you
Forgot.
blacked.
I blacked
Sir?
out. I'm telling you, that's how like
Lou?
anxious after the birds left
My
us.
tears?
I was like, this isn't good. My brain was immediately like, this isn't good. This isn't good.
Go to
You're
your
like
safe
lizard
space in
brain.
your head.
Yeah. It was like, you better watch out for somebody fucking sprinting through this tall grass and attacking you.
Okay, let me follow that up by
Wait.
saying that your worst nightmare, and you've said this to me many times, is being in the car and seeing a naked white man sprinting at the car in the dark. Very exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
Being in the car and
Yeah,
seeing
it
anytime
is.
I'm like,
It's my deepest fear.
anytime I could be like looking at traffic and be like, and almost see an accident. You'd be like, is it a naked white man?
Well, I remember we were literally in traffic, and I was facing her, even though we were at a full stop, and I was facing her because we were talking, and all of a sudden she goes, and I went, ah!
You screamed in my face.
so
and you were
scared.
You were grabbing me by the shirt, and you went, "What is it? What is it?" And
Is it the man? Is he here?
yes, yes.
It was like
Yes.
full bush. Like,
And I was like, "No, I just saw a car accident." And you're like, "Oh, thank God."
like it's a twink. It's not even no muscle. Like this person has like just
You said full bush.
full bush.
In your mind, there's a naked white man ready to rent a car at any instant.
Yeah, like that is my deepest fear.
That's truly like that exact phrase, guys, is literally Luce's deepest fear.
I don't know
They're
why.
hiding around every corner, and you're just driving way too fast for that.
Good.
That's why I
Fucking
speed.
Catch up. I'm going 20 in a 5 mile per hour zone. Like
We've been having a conversation, like obviously in the car, and I will see like an ice cream truck and be like, and you'll be like, what? Like literally, like throwing up, scaring, shitting, sliding down the wall,
Yeah.
like scared.
yeah, because I'm like, what do I do?
Like I haven't.
what do you do?
The windows are rolled up and the doors are locked.
I
There's
feel like
nothing
you don't
to
have
do.
to do a lot in that situation. Just
No,
like drive
man.
away.
I'm like, I guess I have to fist fight this man now.
I guess I have to unbuckle, unlock, and get out
For
because
real.
this man's running at me.
Seriously. Oh my God. No, my deepest fear. But yes,
That is
I
so
forgot.
funny.
So
I-
you were prepared for a naked white man to come out of the brush.
Seriously. I was like, this man who's been hunting us in the forest, fully naked.
In this public forest preserve.
I don't know a lot, but I do know there's a man here, and I know he has nothing on.
No
Full
weapons.
bush.
And I will have to fight him alone.
Yeah, seriously.
Why are you having to slap box the naked man?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just this irrational
Why are you
fear I
getting
have.
out of the car?
I don't understand that either. You're like,
Neither.
gotta do it.
Well,
Now's
now I
the
gotta
time.
box him. No, but I forget that I saw the tall grass move.
Shut the fuck up. I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
this. Who'd you tell?
No, girl. I was like, get the fuck out
No,
of here.
you told
I told you I didn't want to come here. Let me go.
you told me and Matt.
I did at the end.
Oh,
Because I was like, I remember after you guys heard that. Well, I didn't hear
what's going on?
Oh.
Why is that grass moving?
Kelly,
Seriously.
no. Yes,
Yeah.
we were in the car and we had been talking about how we kept hearing the rustling. You're like, you guys heard it, and I saw it.
I thought the rustling was on our side.
No, ma'am.
girl.
Bitch, you were so unsafe.
No,
You
that's
were
why
in
I'm telling you, my
danger
fight or flight.
territory.
If Matt was like, I want to keep going, I would have fully adrenaline rush,
Slapbox the naked man.
jumped over this fucking brook that he didn't even clear. I would have cleared that bitch. I would have cleared it so fast.
All you would have heard is.
It's me. I'm on all fours. climbing.
It's done.
Like, it is finished. And you go, ah.
In a sense.
I'm on Matt's shoulders.
The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Oh my
I've
god.
defeated the final boss. It's a naked man in the
You would
full
be
bush.
truly undefeatable after that. Because that is really your deepest, darkest
My
fear.
deepest, darkest
That
fear.
is so funny.
And so specific.
So specific. Did
And
you
it's
see like
always
a
a white man.
movie? Did you see
No.
a movie where that
No,
happened?
girl. It's just my deepest fear. I'm convinced.
That's the answer to what's the scariest thing. Like,
Oh my god, seriously.
Oh.
I think
Because
about it
that
too
is so
often.
true, because look at these fucking windows.
No.
If a naked white man slapped himself against this window, I'd be screaming, shitting, sliding down the wall, crying, throwing
And I'll
up.
defend you. I know. I'll go out there and I'll
know.
beat the shit out of him. I beat the shit out of him. What is your problem?
I like
No.
that it's your deepest fear, but you're also very prepared to do it.
I am.
Almost as if you've been preparing.
I have been.
You've been
It's
waiting.
almost as if it's also your deepest want is to fight this man.
Your deepest desire and your deepest fear.
Well, I do have daddy issues.
Wait, okay. Back to the grass. Was it like close?
It was maybe 5 or 10 feet away from Matt. It
What
was
the
very
fuck?
close. And I just saw the top bit move. And there was no other
Ew.
grass moving. There was no wind like that.
Shut the fuck up.
It was like if an animal was walking by,
Yeah.
but it only moved in that one spot, there should have been more grass
Oh my
moving.
God.
You know what I mean?
There should have been a lot more communication in this grassy place.
Well,
We were all so
whispering.
scared.
We were, because
Like,
we were
that's the
hearing it.
thing.
Matt was determined. You were seeing it. And then
I was scared
was
for
trying-
Matt. I was like, I hope he doesn't get fucking murdered.
I was trying to listen. I wasn't trying to talk. I was like, I have to be prepared in case there's something fucking in here.
I also feel like it was very chaotic energy right before that happened. We were like, oh my God, did you hear that? Oh my God, like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And like, we're trying to talk to Matt. And we're like, Matt, just come back. And he's like, no, I'm going to go. And it was like a lot of just, it was very dizzying. And then like that just like sobered us all up. And we were like, let's dip.
Yeah.
Very much.
Oh man.
I think I was just like so nervous to like miss something or like not hear like the gravel behind us or
For
something.
sure. It was like super scary, and scary in the way like it could have been
Been
a
a
naked,
naked
white
white
man. Like it didn't have
My
to be
deepest fear.
like spiritual. It could have been like anyone could be in here. And that's kind of like the humanness was scary too,
Yeah.
because like it doesn't have to be supernatural for it to be scary. Like there
It's actually scarier if it's not.
yeah, there's a very
Yeah.
real threat of human presence that I cannot see right now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm more scared of a human than I am
Yeah.
a ghost.
Well, we know.
For It was spooky.
This was a
The-
spooky episode.
Yeah, the grass moving in the back, that kills me. I had no
I
idea.
forgot. I literally forgot about it because it freaked me out really badly.
I don't know if I heard you or if I also blocked that out, but disgusting. Hate it.
Spooky.
Matt was very unsafe. Unless it was a naked old man or a naked white man.
And then you were so protected.
You
Yeah, I would have.
I had no idea
I would
how
have turned
protected you were.
ravenous. You're
like,
like,
no!
this is my moment. I've been preparing
Not
for
you.
years.
Not today.
Ah.
Ah.
I would have had you launch me over this fucking brook. I would've
Shot
killed-
put me.
Literally.
And you would have.
I would have.
Wow.
Oh my god. Well, this was wild.
This was
but
a very like serious and unserious episode.
yeah, it really went off the rails at the end there.
And that's for the best.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and being our third party
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining.
and,
And spilling
The
ghoul
beans.
beans. Bye.
Bye.